Hello there and welcome back to the third video of the DBMS video. So in this video we'll be going around the ER diagrams. We'll be using a question set to do this database activity. So let's look at the question. So we are going to make a database for a grocery. So we'll be using the ER diagram. Since SQL cannot draw ER diagrams, we'll be using the MySQL Workbench to draw an ER diagram. So first we'll open our MySQL Workbench and then we click on this button, the models button, and then we click on the plus icon to create a new ER diagram. Next we click on add diagram and then you will receive a graph page like this. So now let's refer the question again. So we'll have to create the database as Rajapaksha DB. So we'll be drawing an ER diagram. So let's rename our database Rajapaksha underscore DB. Alright, so now we have named our database. So now we will have to add tables. So how many tables should we add? So we have to add 1, 2 and 3. So the customer table, product table and the brand table. So let's create all 3 tables. So to create a table, click on the table icon and drop it in the graph. So I'm going to do it the same way for all 3 tables. So the first table is known to be the customer table. So let's create the customer table. So you double click on table 1 and let's name it as customer. Next, under the column name, let's give the names of our columns. So the first column is going to be the customer register number, first name, last name, gender and the contact number. So let me add all of them to the database. So let's add the customer register number, right? So it is automatically getting the primary key here. And then next we'll be adding the first name. Then next we'll be adding the last name. And next we'll be adding the gender. And next we'll be adding the contact number. So we'll also add the data types. So I'm going to add it as Vacha with the length 10. So let's also check what we have to change. So we created this table and the gender, contact number and the register number should be of 10 characters length. So let's change it. So it's in default is by 45, so let's make it 10. Let's make this value also as 10. And alright, if we finish creating our first table. Next, let's close this table and let's double click on table 2. So the second table is all about the product. So it is product ID and the product name. So let's type in product as a table name. Next, let's type it as product ID and then we'll be adding the product name. So let's see the values we have to add. So the length of product ID is 10 and the length of product name is 45. So let's add them also. So we'll be using the varchar as 10 and 45. So we finished creating the second table as well by using the ER diagram. So the third table is a brand table where it has the brand ID and the brand name. The lengths are similar to the product table. Let's create it. So it's a brand table.
3, 2, 1. Okay.
The column name is known as the brand ID. Let's give the second column name as brand name. So let's give the data type as varchar. So the length is 10. The brand name is varchar 45. So we have successfully created the database, and we have also created 3 main tables of the database. So we finished the first question and the second question. Now let's go to the third question. Customers who come to this store can buy as many items as they like. The store owner says that all purchased items must be stored in a database with a record. So now, since the store owner wants a table with all the purchased items, let's create a relationship model for our database. Okay, so first let's link the brand table with the product table. Since the brands cannot be repeated within the database model, we'll be using it as a foreign key to the product table. So let's use a one-to-one relationship model. First we'll click on the product and the brand.
3, 2, 1.
So we'll have a brand ID here. Next we'll have to create a new table as the invoice table, where the customer will have his product. So we'll create a many-to-many relationship model here. So we have made a table as customer has product. So I'll be renaming it to the invoice table. Okay. So now we can see that the store owner can use this as the invoice. So we can also add
Okay.
some other columns to this table as well. We'll add the timestamp to know when this product was purchased. So let's give the data type as a time, date time. So for now let's keep it as varchar since we didn't discuss about other data types. So next we would need how many products the customer had bought. So I'll be using the quantity as well. And then we'll be creating a total as well. So after we have created the ER diagram, it's time for us to add it to our database. So to add it to our database, click on database and then click on forward engineer and then click on next. So we'll have to export the MySQL table objects. Next, and then we have added it to our database system. So to check it, we can check it using many methods. So if you are using Navigate and MySQL Workbench, you can check it in your database. Or I'm using Hedy, so I'm going to that Hedy software. So let me refresh the database, and here we have the Rajapaksha DB. So we have the brand, customer table, the invoice table, and the product table. So that's all for this video. Let's see what we have created. So first we created a database called the Rajapaksha DB, and then we created 3 tables using the ER diagram, and also according to the store owner's request we made an invoice table so that the store owner can keep track on how products have been sold and how products has been bought by the customer. We also created a one-to-one relationship between the product and the brand, and then we created a many-to-many relationship between the customer and the product. So that's all for today. We'll meet in the next video.